So we've been working on the headers and footers, and we've seen, among other things, that you cannot have different text, different font, different colors and stuff in the header versus the footer. It's all one color or nothing. And we also saw that it was a good idea to modify the format of the page numbers and the dates before you actually place them in the header and footer. That way you get to see that, for example, it could type the word page X of Y instead of you having to type the word page and then insert the page number and then try to figure out how to get it to calculate the total number of pages, when it would have done that for you automatically if only you had tried formatting it first. So we've got a couple more subjects here. We want to talk about security, specifically password security, and then I have promised long ago to come back and talk about combining files into this really cool thing called a portfolio. So first, the security part. Now the security is set up in each document, not overall in the program. Which means to set up the security stuff, we will not go to Edit and Preferences. Instead, we'll go to File menu and Properties. So in the Properties window, there's some interesting stuff that I can see here to begin with. For example, I can see when it was created originally. I can see a file name and then also a title that will appear up in the title bar of my document. But I can also see what application created it. So this was created by the PDF Maker part of Microsoft Word, it says. I can see what inch size the page is, I can see how many pages, and I can see what program created it and the folder that it's sitting in. I can also see the file size, how much disk space it takes up. But what I came here for this time is the Security tab. So I'm going to go up here to Security, and it says right now there isn't any security. And I'm going to say, well, I would like to add some password security to it, which opens up this dialog window. So I can have passwords for a couple of things. I can have a password that's required to open the document, and above and beyond that, either in addition to that or instead of that, I can have one or the other or both. I can have certain restricted permissions, like they're not allowed to print, or they're not allowed to copy and paste. What do I want to restrict them from? And the only way that they could get around those restrictions would be to know a password to remove the restrictions. Every once in a while, I'll have a student ask me, is there some way I can put in a password that they can't print out the document unless they knew this password? They could type in the password and then they'd be able to print it once. Well, it turns out that's not quite the way it works. This thing will restrict them from doing certain things and allow them to do certain things, and the only way that they can change those is to know the restricted editing part. It's not about doing something just once. It's about getting around the restrictions. So first of all, we'll talk about this password. The password required to actually open the document in the first place. And so I'm going to type in what I want that password to be. By the way, the hardest part about putting in a password, of course, is remembering it yourself later. I've gotten myself into that problem before, and then I'm on Google trying to find some 15-year-old kid who knows how to get around passwords in Adobe settings and stuff. And so this is actually fairly deep encryption here, 128-bit encryption. So I'm going to type in like a really easy password, like I'd probably not do this in real life, but maybe I'll make it the word password, P-A-S-S word. And here's a new thing, brand new to Acrobat 10. It actually rates my password here. How hard is it to break the password? It says this is weak, using the password that says password. Usually they like a couple of letters and numbers and stuff like that, but I'm just going to make it easy for myself to remember what it was. Then I could have a second password in here, and I could have the second one even if I don't put in the first one. And this one's going to be about controlling what they can do once they do get into the document. So the opening password is going to be password. And it's okay that that's weak. In my case, I don't care too much. Then I've got another thing about what can they do if I set the second password. And then if they want to go above and beyond what I'm allowing them to do, then they would have to know the editing password to get in there and change that stuff. So maybe I want them to be able to only print in low resolution, unless they know a specific password. As far as what they can change, maybe I want them to be able to only fill out forms. We'll be talking about forms in another module. Maybe I want them to be able to do anything except extract pages out to other PDF files. Maybe I just want them to be able to fill in form fields and sign the form and be able to add comments. So I've got several different levels of what I can allow and not allow them to do, including things like, can they copy text? Can they copy images? I've run into these before, PDF files where they don't want me copying their text and pasting it into Word and printing it out and doing stuff with it. So in order to get around these restrictions, they would have to know whatever password I'm about to put up here right now. And maybe I'll make that 1234, which is also pretty weak according to Acrobat. So I'm going to have one password for getting into the document in the first place. If they don't know that password, they can't even see what's in the document. And then I'll have another password if they want to be able to print at higher resolution, or if they want to be able to make changes to the document, or if they would like to be able to copy text and images, because right now I'm going to say no, they're not going to be allowed to do that unless they know this password. They will not be able to copy text and images unless they know this change permissions password. All right, now I'm going to choose OK. And I've been kind of typing this password blind. All I'm seeing are the little dots. So it says, first of all, please confirm the document open password. That was this one. And that was PASS Word. And I'm choosing OK, and now it says, all right, there are other programs that can open Acrobat documents, and it says not all of those other companies that make these third-party products will actually support your password stuff here. So that might be one of the ways that somebody could get in and actually do stuff in this PDF file, even though I password protected it. Maybe they're using some program other than Adobe Acrobat or Acrobat Reader to get into this PDF file. So just warning you that that could happen. I'm choosing OK. And so now they're talking about the permissions password. Type that one in a second time. Because after all, I was typing it blind. I might think I typed one thing and actually typed another. So I'm going to go in here and retype that 1, 2, 3, 4. And until I type that the same way twice, they just won't let me go on to the next part. So I'm retyping my permissions password. As long as I've typed it the same way twice, things are good. And I do get this warning that says, all right, the security settings have not been applied yet. They'll actually be applied once you save the document. Until then, you can print things at whatever resolution you want. You can actually copy text and stuff until you save the document and these passwords are applied. So I'm choosing OK. I'm choosing OK down here. And so I could actually go in and edit text and stuff like that right now. If I tell it I want to print, I can go up here to my printer, and I probably don't actually have one installed to talk about high quality, low quality kind of stuff, but I am restricted as to what sort of things I can do once I turn on that password. Right now there are no restrictions because I haven't saved it yet. So I'm going to go to the File menu, and I'm going to say Save this thing. So whatever folder it was in before, it's now still in that folder, but notice my title bar now says that it is secured. So if I were to say Save As, I can remind myself where that thing was saved, or we saw a moment ago, if I go to the properties of the document, I can remind myself under description here that, oh, that's in the finished PDFs folder, this secured document. So I'm going to go try it out. I'm going to go to the finished PDFs folder and try to open up my Walt Disney World secured file. So I head to my File menu. I tell it I want to open one. Here's my finished PDFs. I'm going to open up that Walt Disney World file. Oh, it says you're going to need a password here. If I type the wrong password, then it says, nope, sorry. They're giving me the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you just had the caps lock key on because this is case sensitive. So check that out and then try it again. And so here I am typing in PASS Word, and I am now in that document. But if I try to make modifications to it, or if I try to copy and paste, here's the tool that would normally let me copy and paste. And so I'm going to go down here and drag across text, and then I'm going to copy it. I'm going to right-click. I don't see a choice for that right now. I'm going to go to Edit, and I'm going to make can't make a copy here. So I can still select the text, I just can't copy it anyplace. Now be aware I can still use things like print screen key to take a picture of the text and that kind of stuff. I might have some ways to cheat around it that way, but I cannot select this text and then copy and paste it. I can't select pictures and copy and paste them unless I know that restriction password, and then I would be able to get in and do that. So this is how the passwords are applied to my documents, either a password for fixing things or a password for opening the document in the first place. So I'd like you to try that. Go to your Walt Disney World document. Remember, this is not about edit and preferences. That's stuff that changes in the entire program. This is all about this one document. So it's under File and Properties. We went to the Security tab. We turned on Password Security, and then we made our settings. to show how to do those. Now, if I go in here and change settings, it says, all right, then you're going to have to know the permissions password, which was not PASSWORD, PASS Word. No, that was the password for opening the document. I got to have this other password that was a little bit shorter as far as changing the permissions. And now I can go in and change the permissions for myself and allow me to edit, to copy text and print at high resolution and stuff like that. But I needed to know that password to get into that section. So for the moment, I'm going to cancel out of there. And so I'm going to put the video on pause, and you're going to go add password security to this document. And then we'll come back and talk about portfolios.